Late. Why are we late?
Because of the French.
It's the French's fault. Why is the French's fault?
Yeah, now we've had a little bit of an event, but we do that all the time in the winter.
Now, the French TV is here. I have no idea if it's a TV station or a documentary or what the heck it is, but they filmed us. Well, they were going to film me. And I didn't have time. I'm sitting here trying to create my thumbnail and everything. Didn't have time, but they got Greg blacksmithing because Anders has the day off. What did you do?
Nothing.
You poked a fire.
Not really that either. I was mostly ignoring the fire because whenever the fire was burning good, Eloan tried to use it for blacksmithing.
Eloan is how old? 8?
Is he that old?
7, maybe.
6 or 7, I would
He's
say.
got to be close to 8 now. Anyway, French kid with a lot of energy. I love that kid.
Yeah, no. In the beginning it was good because he was just putting sticks in the fire and then taking them out and hitting them with other sticks.
Yeah.
But then he discovered that Greg is using metal and he can't be any worse. So he took every metal object he could find and put it in the fire and then put it on the anvil and smashed it with a really heavy blacksmithing hammer.
No, he's 7. Actually, now that I think about it. Okay, is that why Greg was telling him the temperature difference? If you touch this, it's about 500 degrees, but that one's about 1,000 degrees, and your
Yeah.
answer was what?
You're going to burn yourself either way.
It doesn't matter how hot it is. And did they film Georg too in the Chieftain Hall probably?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and Marie and Roger got to kill each other for French entertainment. They love it. So I'm trying to film this little image for some other video project in the back up the hill. And you can hear these loud grunts coming from down the hill from Marie and Roger. And if you don't know what they're fighting. Anyway, it's kind of funny. So if I was trying to share the link for this last minute over YouTube. And for some reason it shows my YouTube banner picture. And not the actual thumbnail. So hopefully you got to see it. If not, you should go back and see it. Leif Holm is quite correct, by the way, when he says vintage Crocs in that picture. Do you want to explain what Roger's wearing? He's the Norwegian married to the French.
Yeah, no, these are actually kind of sensible for Roger.
Yeah.
Because he started out just nailing really big logs to his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But now he has taken off a little bit of the wood, so they look like mini skis.
He's had a lot of fun. I mean, he actually put birch bark on his legs once so he could be a Birkebeiner, which translates directly to birch legs. But Birkebeiner is something else. We talked about that before. Then what else has he did? Then he put like logs this big on. So then he said his next venture is going to be the ones that he has on in the picture. He's got one of his foot up on a log. He said that's going to be his right shoe in the next one, so he can keep his feet out of the snow. But the thing is, Roger's already like, what, 6'4"? So he's got these big half skis, half Crocs. What did he make them with? He told you. What did he, it was tar and wool?
No, he used tar and wool, so he basically made shoes in the same construction technique as the Vikings used on ships.
So he's got little boats on his feet. And they're super thick. So just say hi. So hi, Leif, by the way. And Audra's in Paris. So I guess maybe you'll see us on TV. It wasn't live, though, unfortunately. But there is a documentary going right now there. I'm trying to find my needle binding, but I think I misplaced it. It's in another bag, but I can start a new one. Garcia's here, by the way, from Cold Holland. How cold was it today? I thought it was okay until just recently.
No, it wasn't particularly cold today. It was around 0.
That wasn't too bad. Arlene's here from Winnipeg. The first day of an extremely cold week ahead. Yeah, I heard there's going to be some interesting weather. Okay, I can't needle bind without a needle. This is going to drive me absolutely insane. I might have to send you after a needle.
So that's not
That's not a needle. That's a chopstick that I use for a hairpin.
Mm-hmm.
You could put a hole in it and turn it into a needle, though.
You want me to put a hole in it?
No, I want you to find my actual needles, but I'm not sure where they are. Okay, and Charlotte is here, by the way. She says, hello from the bus, cold and wet in Bergen. That makes sense. It's raining here, too, and it's always raining in Bergen. She's going home to have a meal or two. I have to show you my meal. I didn't have time to make any food or anything like that. I didn't have even time for a lunch break, but Marie had to make something for French TV, so I have to show you what I'm going to eat here. It's so cool. Let's see, first we have to turn the camera down. Okay, what is this, Karl?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Okay.
I would think that the base is probably barley porridge.
Yeah.
But then it has been
what is
messed
this
with
one?
by the French. So
It's porridge, yeah, it's oatmeal. Porridge, I think in the United States, porridge and oatmeal are two different things. I'm not 100% sure what the difference is. Anyway, but
no,
this...
oatmeal is correct. It's not barley, it's oats.
Oh, yeah, it's
and,
oatmeal in here.
But that's the ingredient. Porridge is the product.
Mm. And she put apples in them, but the apples look like they're baked. They got a little reddish hue to them. They're so good. And hazelnuts, and she had some dried berries to put on there, but I don't like berries. So I'm going to enjoy this. But this one I think actually has the blueberries in it. I'm not sure what this is. It's a Viking flatbread, but do you know how she made that? Oh, it's got like yellow fruit in there. Maybe that's apples. Bite it. See what it says. Here.
Are you afraid of apples, woman?
No, I don't like the berries. Let's see if he lives. What is it? Is it bread? It looks good.
I don't think this is apples. It's something.
It's like trail mix in there. It's good though.
It's good, yeah.
I have no idea how she made it. No recipes, I'm sorry. You'll just have to have a tame French Viking. In the words of Karl. But this one's really good. So, how historically accurate... Oh, there's honey in here too. How historically accurate is this, do you think?
Well, that particular setup would be a rich person food in the Viking Age, I would think. At least in the winter, having access to dried fruits would not be something that everybody had, I would think.
But Marie said it best. She asked if I wanted any of the leftovers from the French TV thing, and I said, yes, absolutely. And then right before she left, I said, oh my God, it's so good. And she says, yeah, food you don't have to make is always the best. The food you don't have to make yourself. So, and it's my spoon, which is all full of, is made of horn, by the way. These are just simple pottery, ceramic bowl or pottery bowls that a lot of the festivals use. We're trying to get rid of them. We have them in the store, but most of them are used for our village now. Goo us.
Well, barely enough, it seems that the Vikings in Scandinavia didn't use ceramics at all.
No?
They occasionally bought things that came in ceramic amphora or flasks, but then they just drink them empty and smash it for fun. They don't seem to have... It almost seems to be something cultural they have against ceramics.
No? Yeah. Okay, I gotta say hi to some more people here. Oh, Drea's here! I haven't seen her in a while. Welcome back. It's chilly out today. She's in my hometown of Duluth. And it's always cold there. Yeah, and the John Bear Grease sled dog race is dog sled race. I always call it sled dog. But the John Bear Grease race is going to start up. We race dogs. With sled dog. Is it sled dog or dog sledding? But we have that every year. God, how many years has that been going on? 40 at least? And then I heard there's a mini one going on now with a really small dog. So that's going to be fun to see. But anyway, that's awesome. And how far does that go, actually, Dre? Does it go from Duluth to Two Harbors, or does it go all the way up to Canada? I'm not sure. I know the Grandma's Marathon race that we have is a 26.5-mile race. Maybe it's kilometer. That one goes a little bit north of Two Harbors to Duluth, ends in Duluth, and get people from all over the world. Usually somebody from Kenya wins. But I don't think
dog sledding.
Not in the dog sledding. That's a regular marathon. It's a big one every year. But this one is it's called Grandma's Marathon. The John Bear Grease dog sled race. That one.
I've never heard about the Kenyan dog sledding team, so...
Hopefully it's somebody from Minnesota who wins. I don't know. It's probably a Canadian, Alaskan maybe. Anyhow, so that's fun. I missed that actually. I haven't seen that in a long time. Arlene says, yeah, 150. I've seen them all, but missed about 4 of the lives. That's really cool. There's only one missing, actually, on YouTube. It was a week that I couldn't be here until the next... Or we'd get here too late for YouTube. I think I was actually driving at the time that we were supposed to send. And it was before we actually had the idea of maybe just doing it a different day that week. So Mona had set it up for me. But they were playing it and they decided to send from the shop because it was getting kind of dark or something, and her kids were playing some video game in the background. But the video game music got picked up by YouTube, and YouTube went copyright. So all 150 episodes are online except for that one. So now you know why. But I wasn't there anyway, so it's not as good, right? No, they were fun. Anyhow, who else we have? Oh, Rhonda's here, and Nella's here. Kiwi and Karin Okra is here. She's cold, and Minnesota's at 0. 0 is colder than freezing in Fahrenheit, obviously.
Yeah,
Because 32 is 32 is 0 in Celsius.
With every one of your measurements, there is no logical source for anything.
No? Go ahead, have your rant.
With centigrade,
I'm eating.
water melts at 0 and it boils at 100. Pretty simple, right? With Fahrenheit, it's like, well, 0 centigrade is about 32 or something. So it's almost, it's like a person who's been dead for an hour or two. It's like, but what are you basing it on? What is it connected to something somehow, somewhere down the line? No. I talked to a guy who is doing, he's an engineer at a nuclear power plant in America, and doing those calculations with the non-metric system. Oh no, this pipe is, it's accepted for pressures up to 74 foot-pounds per square inch.
Did you say foot-pounds?
Yes, that is actually correct.
Foot-pounds?
Foot-pounds per square inch. That's how you bloody idiots measure pressure. And we go, okay, and that is in atmospheres or bar, both of which are pretty simple to calculate.
Your voice gets higher and higher when you get irritated. I love it. Lindsay's here too, by the way. She's freezing in Dallas at 58 degrees Fahrenheit. We feel so bad for you. Actually, you know, there was a guy, I wish I could remember his name anyway, that did the news on the Good Morning Show or something, and they were going to be sending from this ice festival in Minneapolis, St. Paul, which is 3 hours south of Duluth, so warmer and away from the lake, but still cold. So, and it's the most hilarious thing. He's like, greetings from sunny Minneapolis, and he's showing the ice show, or the ice sculpture festival, the ice festival or winter festival, which is canceled because of winter. It was too cold, so they had to cancel the ice festival, or the winter festival anyway. But then I guess every year he just demonstrates on how cold it actually is. So this time he took a carton of eggs, which he had left on his porch all night long. And so he goes to dump it, and it bounces all the eggs. It's awesome. You have to, I don't know, I wish, Matt Lowry, I think his name is, or something, but it was hilarious. Anyway, so if you ever get to catch that, yes, the Minnesota Winter Festival that was canceled because of winter, and that's actually 3 hours south of where I come from. Torbjorn's here, by the way. He says, hello, today they're making klippfisk and taters. What's klippfisk?
Klippfisk is fish that has been salted excessively to the point where you literally can't eat it unless you have watered it a little bit in advance. But on the good side, it lasts forever. And this is funny and tragic at the same time. Back when there was this starvation in Africa, Norway decides to help by sending them crates and crates of this klippfisk. But these are people who live in the inland in Africa, so they've never seen this thing before. And they basically have no idea what it is for. So they send, they ask for food. They say, okay, you haven't sent us any food, send us food. And they go, yeah, but what did you do with all the klippfisk we gave you? No, we thought it was for roofing houses. So they used klippfisk as roof tiles on their houses.
Oop, wrong way. There we go, a little bit more centered. They used klippfisk as Norwegians. I found something. I'm going to use this damn thing as a needle because I have to needle bind something. I'm horrible. Karsten's here and Dora's here, by the way. Hello again. And they said there are +2 people that are learning how to needle bind, and I'm not needle binding, so I'm going to do it with this.
Do you
Ann
want me
Decker
to
would
go
love
and
this
look
needle.
for a needle for you?
Yeah.
Can you give
Can you
me
get one out of the store?
I can do that.
One
At
of the
least
horn,
there I
one
know
of
where they
the
are.
bone needles. Yeah, then I'll be happier. It's like sitting in a doctor's waiting room and you don't have a needle to do your needle binding with. This is why you're supposed to have one of those little ones or something hanging from a necklace. And I'm panicking. I have no needle binding to do. Okay, anyway, Ann Taylor's here. Yay, she caught us live again. I've been seeing that she's been watching backwards. I get a little notification when somebody writes on YouTube. So I have to go in and answer all of these, by the way. But I keep seeing that we're watching backwards in reverse. So it's kind of fun to see. And Albert is here. He's waiting for his bus, which is late, so glad we could help you kill time. And Max is here. I'm going to get some needle binding done, Max. I was thinking about doing the York stitch. I was going to do Omani this week, but French TV. Can't happen. Try again the next week. Oh, Ingela Anderson. I have not been on Facebook in a while either. I haven't had time, but Ingela Anderson has hopefully, she said she was going to do it or did, post her shawl, which is being made in Nalbinding. And I saw it on Zoom last week. It was awesome. If you haven't, if you don't know about the Zooms on every weekend, Ann Decker has a Zoom. I think she does. She sends it at 2 times so that the Australians can come at a normal time. And it's a needle.
It is a needle.
A needle.
But, since I got it from the shop, I think you should advertise it very hard.
Okay, advertising very hard.
Somehow explain to people why this thing is worth 3 boxes of iced coffee.
Because you're buying them from Yoker. It's worth 4 boxes of iced coffee if you get it at a grocery store. Anyway, so 69 kroner, but this is made of bone. But normally the needle binding needles cost anywhere between 150 to 200 kroner because they are handcrafted. But these are more or less mass produced. But because it's bone and they have to cut each one, they're a little bit different in shape each one, but that's why. So actually your 4 boxes of iced coffee needle is a cheap needle. But anyway, but it's a good all-around needle. For me it's a little short, but for most people this is normal. It's not too sharp. The eye is big enough and it's not too round because some people like round needles but not me, so it'll do. Max has one of these. Just saying. Let's see who else is here. I'm back. Oh, Lindsay's here. Yeah, I said Lindsay's. Oh, hi again, Lindsay. What stitch are we working today? I'm going to do York F2, I think. Which I absolutely hate York, but when I do it in F2, which means the way you connect is with 1 new and 1 old stitch instead of 1 new, I find it a little bit more bearable. Congrats on figuring it out, says Kiwi to Anna Taylor. Oh yeah, she's making a brown hair tie in the Omani stitch for the January color challenge. I finally figured it out last night. Heading into a quilt and craft show, so we'll catch on replay. Thanks. So she got the Omani stitch. That's not easy to do. To get started, even I, every 3 attempts that I do, one of them won't work, or maybe, I don't know, 1 out of every 3 attempts to start it works, but once it gets going, it's easy. So a little tip is if you have a long chain, in the chain like about this long in the Omani stitch, use it to kickstart another project and just cut it off and save it for the next one. I can see that I plant dyed this yarn because this is gut yarn. It's really dry. It's a mess. Okay, I have to catch up. Roger's here from balmy Huntington Beach. The attempt for cat sledding event was not successful. No, but you can make that a thing. Do you have like dolphin sledding events over there? Or crocodile or something they can do. He's in Huntington Beach, California. Which, by the way, I hear it's been raining like mad. And I remember that you, Roger, told me when we were in California and it was raining, it was especially dangerous. Because there's not enough rain in California in the first place. So a lot of oil collects on the roads for the highways from the cars. So when it does rain, it's like Californians flying everywhere.
Yeah, that and flash floods.
Yeah, they have flash floods now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Drea's watching it local. Yeah, I bet it's the dog sled race is I bet the dog sledding race is actually being sent somewhere, so I have to check that. Peruda says, Angry Karl is the funniest Karl. I can't help but agree. Your voice just gets higher and higher and higher. Your hair starts getting messed up. Your hat starts falling off your head. It's cute. Patty Norris is here. Hi from Colorado. Hi, Patty. And welcome to Norway. Soon, I think, what is it? In maybe about 4 weeks we can start going outside again?
Yeah, well, we could do it right now if you use Toril's magical phone.
Yeah, no, yeah, I heard we were... So we needed to take some more film footage, so I go to sit there and we're using her phone because she's got an iPhone 13 and I have an iPhone 11, so, and we're looking at this as we test it. Yeah, prayer quality's better, colors are sharper. Okay, so we'll use her phone. So I go out and I film at 4 o'clock. We're trying to get this nice blue hour twilight thing, so we light up the little fire posts that our pyromaniac Vikings made. So we're having this nice glow, and I go to film it, and everything is like daylight, and you can't even tell that the things are lit unless you look for them. So, okay, we wait 1 hour. 5:03, I go out there. It's getting pretty dark for everyone else, and the phone just lights it up as if it was daytime. So my boss comes out, and she looks at it. Well, you should have just filmed this a little bit ago. Why did you do it so early? And I said the timestamp says 5:03. That was literally 20 minutes ago. So then we try to film it at 5:34, and it's too dark. We can't win. So we're going to try it again next week at 5:15. But then there'll be a week more of light, so we'll probably be off. But anyway, so now it's getting dark at 5 o'clock, which we now know. So in about maybe 4 weeks, it'll be... I think we'll still be ending in the dark, but it'll be light enough to start outside. Because we start at 6.
We'll see.
We'll see.
It's too cold to be outside more than you have to nowadays, so...
Yeah. Let's see. Kiwi got a drop spindle yesterday, and I have been practicing spinning today. Soon you'll be able to needle bind with homespun yarn. It's so much fun. You'll like it. You'll love it. It's a little tricky to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's really good. If it's kind of bumpy and uneven, do the 2-ply, make it double, and then it just kind of evens everything out. You can still use it too. So even the learning yarn is good. Let's see. Albert says he bought food for his birthday dinner. Yeah, have you had your birthday? Didn't you just have your birthday? Happy birthday! I gotta get my ass on Facebook. I don't know when anybody has a birthday without Facebook. Somebody had a birthday today, and I did. Your father had a birthday yesterday, and I didn't know because Facebook didn't. Well, I wasn't on. What did we do without Facebook? We actually had to keep calendars on the kitchen walls and send letters, cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Back in the old days. Fishing with Filica. Did I read that right? I have to get better glasses. Fishing with Filica. Do you know that name sound familiar? Filica? No. Maybe it's I like the name though. You have to explain that. But welcome to YouTube. By the way, we haven't done this in a long time. My name is Karin. I'm from the United States. This is Karl. He's the Norwegian from Selja, Norway. And normally we will film out in the village. We both work at Viking Valley. This YouTube is no representation of Viking Valley because we're doing it for free and we're having fun.
Are you planning to do something bad since you're doing the disclaimer thing?
Yeah. Talking about my boss's phone lighting up. No, because normally Viking Valley is a little bit prettier than this office wall with the really 80s furniture.
Probably a designer.
Hi, everyone. You want to say hi to YouTube? Ska du vilja hilsa? Ska vi snu? Va? I think he's hiding. Hi, everyone. Everyone, hur gammal är du?
6.
He's 6. Okay, you win, Karl. That's a Viking kid with an iPad. Rare sight. Ha det bra, everyone. He's got all of his potato chips and candy around here, so I think we might have just freaked him out.
We might see him again.
Anytime, any tips on how to set the twist of handspun yarn? I looked this up quite a bit. There's a lot of YouTubes on for videos for setting the twist. When I spin it, you can ball it up in a center pull barn anyway, or just right off the spindle, wrap it around a frame. Okay, anyway, so you wrap it around something like a niddy noddy. Not too tight though, but just wrap it around a nitty knotty, but you should wet it either when it's already wrapped around it, or it's hard to do it just before. But when it dries, it will it'll actually retain its shape a bit more, so it won't start felting up around spinning undskyld. Det står I veien for alt sammen. Ja, nei, det har du alt. And then, yeah, when it's dry, you take it off of it, but you might want to whack it. You can either do this when it's wet, wet it again and just whack it, literally sling it against a wall like a wet towel, or maybe a fraternity boy. But it sounds kind of stupid, but it kind of evens out the tension a bit, and you're really hoping I hit you in the face. But that seems to work pretty well. But anyway, I used to wrap it around the posts on the fences here in the village, but then you have to kind of swing it and thwack it or something in it. Thwacking. Look, you'll see it on YouTube. But anyway, it works pretty well, so I think you'll like it. It's a good aggression activity.
One of these days you have to tell me the story about the time you slapped a wet fraternity boy against the wall.
You have to watch Animal House. Well, anyway, good luck with it and let me know how it goes. There's an F3 variant of Jorvik stitch. Maybe you can try it. Okay, let's do it. We're going to do this. I have to move my wonderful French-made Viking food. And then we'll turn the camera down. Okay. Karl, what do you want to... Whoops. You guys got to find me some questions for Karl while I show this one. And then we'll have some saved up. Oops, something stupid. You can ask him a really good Viking question, or you could ask him something that's so retarded he has to come up with a good answer for it. I like those questions too. Anything that frustrates Karl. So, anyway, this is how I start almost all my stitches. I just make a circular knot. This is for right-handed, by the way. So pretzel knot with the yarn pointing down. And then for York, I'm going to need 2 loops, so I just go back under everything, pull through, and then I have now 2 loops on my thumb. There we go. It's not really a tutorial, so you can look up how to do that again later. So York is an easy stitch, but it twists a lot, so you kind of want to needle tension it if you can, so I'm really glad that Karl went and got me a needle. But you just go, instead of going like Oslo where you go away and turn, this one you just literally go straight. But I like to needle tension it because it's super tight. So you take it off your thumb and pull the string right after there. So we'll do one more and we'll do some chain of this while we ask Karl some good questions. I saw Roger had one there for you. Roger. It's Roger in Norwegian, but Roger is American. Okay, let me catch up real quick. Okay, Roger says, how did the ancient Viking track temperature measurements? I see what you did there.
Aside from freezing or not freezing, I don't really think.
How would they know? Did they just wait to see if, they're nipply or if their hair stands up on their arm?
In some context, like plant coloring, you need to hit the temperature pretty much exact.
Yeah.
And you do that by experience for the most part.
Yeah.
And then you think of it in terms of, no, it is the right temperature.
Oh, this is dry.
You don't go, no, it's 55 degrees centigrade or whatever the hell that is in Fahrenheit. And they don't seem to have had a scale of any sort. That would be very surprising if they did.
Actually, I think just about anybody from Duluth or Minnesota in general. So Karin and Drea, at what temperature do salty boogers freeze on a beard? Maybe we won't know about the beard, but I definitely know when it smells like winter because your nostrils are the hair in your nostrils are freezing. That's actually not when it's 0. So, Karl, at what time temperature do salty boogers freeze on a Viking beard? We might have to get Karl's expression for this one.
I would guess around 0 centigrade.
Oops. Okay, I gotta turn this again.
That's
Centering.
273 Kelvin if you're interested.
When he's doing that, you win, Roger. November. Okay, yeah, no, November is when it starts to smell like winter. Basically, when we say it smells like winter, it's because it's starting to freeze inside your nose. Okay, now I'll get Torben's question here. We'll show some more. turn this down. There we go. Torben says, any more findings to kindle the famous Blåsbelg discussion? It was Blåsbelg.
Not that I know of, and I am very confident that if anything ever was found that proved the use of the double-chambered bellows in the Viking Age,
That's what
I
Blåsbelg
would
is. Yeah?
hear about it from every bloody Viking blacksmith in the universe. Because nothing would make them more happy. But it just doesn't seem to be any substance to those things existing in the Viking Age.
Roger says, thank you, Karl, by the way. So yeah, so Blåsbelg is the bellows on a...
Yeah, the thing most
my food
people
out of the
kind of
way.
accept that the Vikings used two bellows that you operate in a rhythm, kind of.
Yeah.
But later on in the medieval time, they start using the double-chambered bellows. And with double-chambered bellow, you can use one bellow to inflate the other one, and then it just slowly seeps air into the forge. So one person can basically just pump it up and then work the smithy while he is getting fresh air blown in. So it basically takes it from a two-man operation to a one-man operation. And because most people just can't be bothered standing around operating the bellows for a blacksmith, getting somebody to work the bellows for you is probably a lot harder today than it was in the Viking Age.
Oh, yeah? We got
So-
Elowen doing it.
Yeah, no, you can, yes, if you have a kid.
A 6-year-old is good at doing
But
it.
kids generally also have attention spans that are not that impressive. And if you start using them for 8 hours a day, it's child labor for some reason.
No, but was child labor like an issue in the Viking Age?
No, but they also had slaves, so why would you waste kids on it? And a blacksmith would have an apprentice that is trying to learn how to be a blacksmith. So you would have a lot of hands you could use to operate your bellows.
This is why I don't like the York stitch.
The modern Viking blacksmiths really, really want this invention to be accepted as Viking. But there is no good reason to believe that it actually was.
Huh.
And I'll change my mind immediately as soon as somebody finds basically any kind of evidence.
Somebody find something for him. Okay, so to see, okay, now I'm just connecting it to the next row. Hi, Elowen. Du krabbar så försiktigt. He's running on the floor so he doesn't get caught on camera. So right now I don't have enough stitches to do F2, but this one new one is F1, one from the front. And one F2 is one new
Could you
one
like that? I don't know.
and an old one. And then you do your stitch. But F3, you need... Oh, it keeps twisting there. There we go. F3, one new one. Two old ones. That's F3. His tail needs to be out of the way. But you can see how loose it is. This is why I'm needle tensioning, by the way. I got another question for you, Karl. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. This is going to be the first time I've ever tried F3. Max, I should probably have started a proper hat. Oops. Yep. I forgot to tension. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'll keep doing this. Karl, let's turn it back to you again because Peruta's got a question for you. Let's see. There we go. And we have to lift the camera up a bit higher. Otherwise, we're looking down our noses at people, and that's not good. Okay, your hat is getting more and more fun on your head. Peruta says, question for Karl. How did Odin become the dominant deity instead of Tyr when Tyr is the Nordic equivalent to Zeus? Good one.
That's a good question, and the answer is kind of complicated, and it's a lot of guesswork. But what seems to be the case is that from Proto-Germanic mythology to Viking to Light Viking, they are trying to take some of the things they think are the selling points of Christianity. So Odin is getting more and more like the Christian god for every generation. They give him a little bit more extra work and a little bit extra powers. So leader god, war god, god of death, god of wisdom. He is also dabbling in stealing magic and poetry from other gods. it seems that they're basically working from.
Yeah.
If they had been allowed to continue, you'd probably end up with a branch of Norse paganism that was basically straight up Odinism. So basically, instead of having all these gods become saints for Odin. So, yeah, no, Brage is the god of poetry, but that's nothing compared to the poetry of Odin. Tyr might be the god of war, but if you're going into war, you should probably talk to the one-eyed one instead of the one-handed one, because he knows what he's doing. So he's basically stealing the jobs of all the other gods. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's the answer.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for more.
This is very, very speculative. This just seems to be the case. And the really frustrating thing is that almost everything we know because Snorri Sturluson wrote it down. It's very hard to do a comparative analysis on anything because you don't have it in multiple sources. You only have it from Snorri.
Bing.
Some very few things
curly.
you have from both Snorri and Saxo Grammaticus, for instance. But Saxo Grammaticus is mostly concerned with history, and he is also not particularly concerned with the truth. So, yeah, it's a problem.
Torben says, Sutungsmjord for the wind. What is Sutungsmjord? Well, Mjord is mead.
Yeah.
And what's Sutungs? Are you happy? I knew what FTW means. For the win! I used to play Warcraft.
No, we are in Greg's ballpark, but this has to do with a very complicated story
He says he's going to be here next week, so we hope.
that starts with the war between the Aesir and the Vanir, the two families of gods. And when they make peace, one of the things they do is to basically everybody walks up and spits in a cauldron.
Oh, we saw
from-
them do that on the 13th Warrior.
Yeah, there's nothing to do with the price of eggs. From this cauldron, they magically create, was it Mimir? Kvasir. Who's basically gotten the good parts of every god, so he's like a super god. He knows everything and he can do everything. He is later on murdered by some dwarves, and these dwarves pickle his head or something. You probably get this a little bit more correct if you talk to Greg than me, but basically they use his body to brew the first mead. Then this mead,
Yummy.
then they murder a guy, they murder a Jotnir. That Jotnir's brother comes and demands compensation and takes the mead. Then Odin gets to hear about it, and Odin murders like loads of Jotnirs to get to this mead. And when he finally does, he shapeshifts into an eagle, drinks all of it, flies into Asgard, and then pukes and poops it all over the place. It's a nutty mythological story.
Roger says Wednesday derived from Wodenstag, derived from Odin's Day. Actually, that's quite correct. There's other days of week that are influenced by Norse mythology. Would you like to elaborate on that, Karl?
Tuesday is for Tyr.
Tyr, yeah.
Wednesday for Odin. Thursday for Thor. Friday
Thorstag.
for either Freya, or Frigg. We don't know for sure. Saturday is just a bathing day. Sunday and Monday, I have no idea.
Laugardag it's Lørdag in Norwegian or Laurdag in Norwegian, depending on the dialect. And Laugard is the old one, which literally means, to wash.
bathe.
To bathe, so we know they were very clean because they had a day called Washing Day. I don't know how that came Saturday in English, though.
Saturn.
Lugardager, writes Torben. Purda says, next question. Why did the Vikings copy Tolkien's names for dwarves? I'm loving these fun questions. Look at
Interestingly enough, a lot of the names in Tolkien is not from the mythology of the Vikings, but from the actual history of the Vikings. So
Hi, Georg. Oh, we have to say hi real quick. Oh, there you are. It's a chieftain. He's on his way home.
Yes.
Bye, Georg.
Bye.
Okay, continue with your answer.
Gandalf, for instance, is one of the competing kings fighting Halvdan the Black and later on Harald Finehair about being the king of Norway. So theoretically, our first king, if things had gone differently, could have been King Gandalf the First.
Gandalf the First. Okay. I saw Torben also said, didn't they also use the spit from all the gods? That's what we do with
Yes.
needle binding. Spit to the gods on when you splice
In the
yarn.
creation of Kvasir, yes.
Well, they said hi, Georg. Adrian is here. He said the mead that Odin spat out was still considered pure. So those who drank it would become wise and great poets or skalds. The mead he accidentally pisses, if I read that right, is considered impure. Oh yeah, no, he accidentally pisses is considered impure, and if drunk, you become a shitty poet or skald and not very wise. I want to be so godly that people want to drink my spit.
That's it's a funny thing about the Vikings because they genuinely seem to believe that the poetry comes from mead. And at least if Egil Skallagrimson is anybody to go by, drunkenness and poetry is like gloves and snow. You can't have one without the other, pretty much. And this, I think, pretty much goes to the idea that the drunker you are, the less likely you are to recognize your own bad poetry.
Actually, I think that's true today for quite a few people. Let's see. I was gonna... Yeah, we actually have about 15 minutes left, but we did set up something this week for the first time in a while because we had issues with our Zoom, but it's back. We have yeah. You want to tell them what you're doing next Saturday? Well, actually, you and I are doing it next Saturday, but it's more you than me. I pretty much hold the camera and irritate the shit out of you.
Is that already next Saturday?
Yeah, it's Saturday the 4th. Yeah. So it's next Saturday.
It's an online tour over Zoom. Do you buy the tickets through the web shop?
Yep. The link is on Facebook, Viking Valley Facebook already.
So
This we're actually paid by Viking Valley to do, so this is that actually costs money. But it's only cost the price of a ticket, and you can have as many people behind your screen as you want. So.
yeah, and it's a ticket, but you don't have to buy a ticket to fly to Norway and stay at Toril's hotel.
And it's a ticket for one adult, but you can have as many people watching as you want on your other side of the screen. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry I interrupted you. So yeah. Sorry, Zoom live tour.
Yeah.
So basically, I follow you
It's
around
my
with the camera.
ordinary tour. This is basically what we do with everybody who come here. Obviously, if
You're
you
really good.
show up physically, we can also do axe throwing and archery, but this is the full tour
Yep.
for the ordinary price.
And you have time for questions and answers in the end because normally your tour is 45 minutes, but we got the 15 minutes extra for any questions that want to be asked as well. What can they expect on your tour? Tell briefly what what topics do you cover? With a little bit of dry humor, it's hilarious. You have to see them.
I have an introduction, then I talk mostly about shipbuilding and travels. Then about their society, then a little bit about textiles, then weapons, then the gods.
And it's done at 3. We start at 3 o'clock, so it's about 3 hours before we do YouTube, and ends at 4 o'clock. So you actually can see what the village looks like during the daytime. There's still a lot of snow in the mountain. We are moving into avalanche season, but we probably have a couple more weeks before. I think in March, that's when they start avalanching a lot more. The camera, Karl could be giving his nice little tour and everything, and suddenly I do this because, ooh, avalanche, and then he gives me this look. Because you're more important than an avalanche.
Yeah, it's fine if it's a big avalanche, but she likes pebbles.
We don't have mountains where I come from. Well, we have the Palisades, but I'm not really
And occasionally a pebble falls off the palisades without anybody going, whoa.
Yeah, but unless you're in the lake, you can't actually see it. Because usually you're at the top looking down. Garcia says, forget the spitting, but drinking the mead sounds good. Charlotte says, let's spit the mead and drink. Trenger ikke visdomstann, da. Doesn't need a wisdom's tooth then. Nella said, I would say many Finns still believe today, ... Oh, the Finlanders, they have got vodka, so.
Yeah, come to think of it, I've never heard Finnish poetry, so I might never just have met a Finn that was drunk enough to start.
Okay, we gotta do that one. Max Brandt says, I've never tried using Finnish 2+2 or 2+3 using an F3 connection. So maybe I can try that in the round start. Yeah, no, absolutely. She also said they could thank me later for the F3, and I think I actually will, because now I've done 3 rows so you can see my gauge. I probably should have made this in the size of something usable because it's a napkin ring right now. They don't use those really. Anyway, but I'm liking the density more, but this is a thick yarn. It's still a little holy. I don't know if you can see it to the light. Yeah, there. But it doesn't quite slant more this way. It kind of slants more straight up and down almost now. Not quite, but then regular F2 York and F1. If I did F1 with this and didn't needle tension, it'd be like big. And the wrong side looks like that. So basically, the middle row is what it looks like when it's bound in all directions. So there you go. Yeah, no, I will thank you for that. It's a good one to try F2 with. But if you're going to use really thin yarn, F3 with. But if you're going to use really, really thin yarn, yeah, no, definitely try F3 with Finnish 2+2 or 2+3. Hej, Eloan. Vi är färdiga om 10 minuter så kan du få rummet tillbaka.
Jag tränger vann.
Du tränger vann. Vill du ha den vannflaska här? There you go. I told him he can have the room back in 15 minutes. This is usually where we park our kids when we're working because they have the day, it's Saturday and they had to be here for French TV because he's half French, half Norwegian. So we usually stick them in here because then they have Wi-Fi. And it's too cold to be out all day long, and there's other kids haven't come yet. We're almost fully booked for Easter when it comes to Vikings, by the way. So there's a little tip if you're one of our Viking reenactors, or if you want to come during Easter, you, as a Viking reenactor, you can apply to be a freeman as well. You can send a message to freeman at njardarheimer.com, NJARDHEIMR. And get information for that. That's me that runs that email now. Used to be Virginia. Anyway, yeah, there's not very many houses left available. So if you don't get your name in the bucket soon, you're gonna have to bring a Viking tent or sleep off-site during the night. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the Vikings again. Also, 17th of May weekend is going to be a big one. What is 17th of May, other than May 17th?
How long have you been here?
I'm asking the Norwegian because it's fun to watch you do that.
I'm trying to bring up a kind of important point. Have you noticed anything particular about Norwegian behavior on that particular day?
They get really dressed up.
Mm-hmm. Do you do anything else?
You eat marzipan cakes.
Yeah, and?
They have red, white, and blue on them.
Yes, and?
You wear little ribbons here.
Yes.
You walk in a parade.
Yes.
You have a lot of really noisy toys that guides like. Horns and whistles.
This parade is not guided.
There's got to be some majorette in the front of the parade guiding it.
You have usually a band that walks in front. They might or might not have somebody twirling a stick walking in front of them. But you'll never see the end of the parade. If you go to any Norwegian city, you'll just see the side of the parade for as many hours as you care to look at it, and then you can go eat a sausage.
Adrian says on the 17th of May, all curiosity and Norwegian horns are thrown right out the window. They had like these little bazookas and bzz, you know, those kind of things.
Bazookas?
Not that kind of bazooka.
Are you talking about a kazoo?
A kazoo. Yeah.
So not a bazooka.
I think we called them bazookas when I was a kid, but I'm from Duluth. All bets are off.
Yeah.
But I might be thinking of Bazooka Joe, the bubble gum with the comic strip in it. Tastes like crap. But yeah, didn't cost much. So it's Norwegian Constitution Day.
Yes. For about 10 minutes back in 1914, Norway was independent. That ended very quickly, but we managed to write a constitution before we lost control again. Basically, it's complicated, but Norway-Denmark ended
That's
up
okay, we're
on
almost done.
Napoleon's side during the Napoleonic Wars. Because the English preemptively attacked the harbor at Copenhagen and destroyed the fleet. So without the fleet, we went from being maybe the
Oh, you
third
gotta wait a minute.
biggest sea power
I have to
in
ask
the
you a
world
question.
to not having a fleet. So we obviously were on the very losing side of this war. After that, Denmark is losing control of Norway. And so Norway is independent for the blink of an eye. We write the constitution, then we go under Sweden. Because Sweden ended up on the correct side, that is the not losing side of the Napoleonic War. We are in a loose confederation with Sweden because we have our own constitution, and Sweden basically accepts that Norway has its own parliament. Then we almost, in the 1880s, we almost end up in war with Sweden. And it is so touch and go that it's not even funny. But the point of contention is that the Norwegian wanted their own foreign service. They wanted their own embassies, their own foreign ministry, and they wanted to make their own decisions when it comes to alliances and friendships internationally. And the Swedish didn't really want to do that. One of the many things Norway did to basically get Sweden to change their minds is the foundation of the first rifle associations. Because the army is with Sweden. The farmers want an independent Norway. There are probably 20 farmers for every soldier. If all these farmers have rifles, that changes the equation a little bit, to put it kind of gently. This part of the history is probably the reason why Norway is not that far behind the United States of America when it comes to gun ownership. We are behind, but we're not that far behind. I think every household in Norway has like almost a gun. So it's on average almost a gun per household in Norway and like 3 in every household in America. But that puts us very close to the top for Europe. The only ones that have a lot more guns than us are the Swiss.
I have to ask Marie. Marie? Marie? Ah! She was just crawling around behind here to pick up after her kids with a very guilty look on her face, but she didn't. She's here later than normal. I was going to ask her what she put in there, but we'll catch her when she comes back in. If we actually got 5 minutes to go, but there's some pretty good ones. Let's see. Max said, I made the F3 version of Mom and Stitch. It's something you can try next Saturday. Yeah, that we could do. F3 is just going to, because Corgan and Mommin are pretty much the same. It is the only Stitch I know that changes its name with its connection. So Corgan is F1, Mommin is F2, but Mommin F3, yeah, that I wonder if that still looks more or less herringbone because the slant would be a little less, I think. We could try that. If I don't get time to make an Omani sample with me. Like today. Marie? Damn, I really wanted to know what's in
You
that.
can't just call everybody who walks by Marie.
No, I just hear her going in and out. She's running back and forth. She is our French Viking. She's got some rage, that one. Oh, she was kicking the crap out of her husband on the field today.
She wasn't really angry because if she was, she would be dangerous.
Yeah, she's a fighter. Let's see. And she's like this tall, and her husband's like the one on the picture in the thumbnail. He's like this tall. Until she can knock him on the floor. How would you describe the York Stitch with F3? Well, it's still getting a little. You can see I'm getting tighter. That sounds really bad, but it's the first row will always be wider than the last, and then the middle stitches because it's not bound on this end. But it seems like I'm starting to. Maybe I have some more rage because I'm starting to. No, it's evening out. But I think it's okay. It's not twisting. It's still twisting a little bit. It wants to do this, but it's a little. It makes York a lot more tolerable. It almost looks like crochet if you didn't know any better, but it's like single crochet. There was another question for you. Marie, there you are. Marie, I showed off your food. Whoops, wait. We have a question for you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marie,
Yes,
this was good. What is this?
it's like,
What is in it?
yeah, flour,
Yeah?
eggs, lots of eggs, dried apricots,
Apricots, that's what it was.
and hazelnuts.
And hazelnuts.
Yeah.
This was good. And then you made this one with the honey. What else did you make today, by the way? I have to ask you the food.
Yeah,
This
so
one was...
Then I made that, then it's havregrøt, so
Yeah.
porridge, oatmeal, yeah.
Hmm.
With apples that I cooked with honey and butter.
Hmm.
And yeah, hazelnuts, and then dried blueberries.
You dried the blueberries in the oven?
Yes.
I didn't know you could do that with an oven.
Yeah, very good. And it was very tasty.
They liked it, the French people?
No, they didn't. No, they didn't care. I mean,
The
they.
damn French?
Yes. No, but they were interested by the oatmeal.
Did they?
Yes.
Yeah, because you said you don't have oatmeal in
No,
France.
no, we don't eat that. It's not. No.
Hmm.
I mean, we can make it if we want. We have the ingredients, but it's like it's not a
Poor man's
thing.
food.
Yeah,
It's not... She's from Champagne. Champagne.
It's not something we do in France. No, it's croissant
It's
in
croissant.
the morning. And
Those are good.
baguettes with butter and jam.
Oh, yum.
Yeah. So,
That's
but
better.
no porridge. No, that's.
No, where I grew up in Duluth, it was oatmeal every day because it was too damn cold to go out, so you had to...
I think that's good. It's healthy.
Yeah.
It's good and yeah.
Filling.
And always be careful to not burn
Mm.
the porridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very good at that.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, thanks for
Okay.
telling us what was when. You made it just in time. We're at the end of the time now. Thank you.
Yes.
Was it French TV or are we allowed to say who was shooting?
I don't know.
Mm.
No, we are not.
No,
Actually.
we don't know. They're just French. That's all we know.
No, we are not.
We don't know anything else. They're French. It's top secret.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. It's a kazoo. I called it a bazooka. It was kids' toys. Karl's making fun of me. Okay.
Okay.
See
yeah.
you.
Sorry about.
No, you're fine.
You should
I
have
promised to make it messy. I have kids too.
You should have told me.
No,
I
didn't have time.
Ah,
But it's fine. No, we did really great.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, they liked the food, by the way. They said it was neat. Okay, there was another question here for Karl. A couple of them. Let me see if I get one here. Where I was having to, do Mythbusters style show next. Karl tries to re-roof the cabin with salty fish. I would pay to see that.
I think you have to be in a very dry place for that to even kind of work. Because this fish will get mushy when it rains on it.
Torben, how much clip fisk do you have? It's another quick one up here. Oh, maybe. Have to leave, so Torben, the fish is done, and it's time to open some beers. Yeah. And also, Thorn made the most epic dump. Thorn is a baby. He's a little over 1 year old now. Any vuvuzelas? Does that mean anything to you?
Vuvuzela is blowing instruments to the extent that you can call it an instrument.
It's not the little birdie one?
No. It's sports supporters keep using them. They have a high-pitched screaming sound.
Oh, the ones that you use on a boat for like SOS kind of.
Jesus, no. You would be shot. Nobody would come to save you if you make that sound.
Oh, okay. I just thought I carried pretty well over open water. Mangatak, York Stitch, etc. You're welcome. Varsågod. And there was one more. Karl, how? Oh, this is a good one. Karl, this is the last question for the day. How is your target shooting going?
Getting better.
Do you want to tell them about the little setup you made so you could shoot inside the living room
No,
with an air gun?
I was just zeroing the gun so that I know what the sight picture, because I noticed that a lot of the misses were to the right. Yeah, to the left-hand side. So you're aiming there and you're hitting over there somewhere. So I was trying to check if the sights were zeroed correctly, and they almost are. On short distances, you hit a little bit over and to the right of the target. So you're missing to the left, but the target is zeroed on the right. So I think it has something to do with trigger pull or something else causes both me and the other ones have a tendency to shoot to the left of the target. And the target, or the sight is sighted for a little bit to the right. So I think it has something to do with how people are holding and firing the gun. It's interesting.
So did it fix your aim?
My aim is better when I know this, but it's also a matter of having fired a few hundred shots since the last time we talked. So you do get some experience.
Yeah. And especially when you're sitting on the couch and shooting at the fireplace.
I'm not sitting at the couch and shooting at the fireplace.
Okay, that's what it looks like. I think this was a fun one to try. I made a 3-finger warmer. Maybe it'll be a napkin ring. It's a thing. Anyway, okay, and are you left eye dominant, by the way, Sistrea? Because she is left eye dominant and needs a left-handed gun or revolver.
I'm left eye dominated, but I'm also right-handed.
Dominated by my left eye.
So I shoot like this. So with my right hand as my operating hand, but with my left eye as my aiming eye. With the pistol, that's not a problem. With the rifle, I have to shoot links, so I have to use it the opposite way. So when I use a rifle, it has to be either somewhat symmetrical, or it has to be designed for a left-handed operator. And I can, under no circumstances, use any of the bloody bullpup rifles, because they would just keep shooting the bloody shell cases straight into my face.
Tip from Roger. Karl, you are slapping the trigger, position your finger, then squeeze the backwards slowly. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Roger would do that. He does this.
No, it's a matter of experience. Most triggers will have a pressure
Two
point.
Saturday.
So you push while you are doing the last bit of the aiming, you push very gently into the pressure point, and then you kind of go through the pressure point while barely noticing. But yeah.
I slap the trigger.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't be doing that, because it will cause the gun to wobble.
Everyone's saying bye, so we're gonna leave.
Yep.
Okay. And yeah, next Saturday, same time. I'll try to get a picture out sooner, but I was distracted by French TV. And we'll find another stitch. This was getting fun. Go ahead. Yep. Bye bye. There. Oh, I can't push a button.